Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour, Prime Minister Modi will initiate the historic debate on 150 years of Vande Mataram in lower house of the Parliament. 10 hours allocated for this special discussion on the national song. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation grants IndiGo an extension till 6 p.m. Monday to respond to its notice, warns of proceeding ex parte if airline fails to respond. Israel's PM Benjamin Netanyahu hints at entering second phase of Gaza plan shortly, says Hamas must disarm. Will meet President Trump later this month to discuss peace. President Zelenskyy says Ukraine's peace talks with US constructive but not easy. Expected to meet French, British and German leaders on Monday in London. Further talks planned in Brussels. India's parliament is gearing up for a momentous discussion, one that goes to the heart of the nation's cultural and political memory. Today, the lower house or Lok Sabha will hold a special 10-hour debate marking 150th anniversary of the national song Vande Mataram. And leading this historic conversation will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is set to initiate the discussion. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will speak next, while on Tuesday the focus shifts to the Rajya Sabha, where Home Minister Amit Shah will open the debate, followed by Health Minister JP Nadda. With both houses set to examine the song's legacy, symbolism and political interpretations, Parliament is preparing for a rare and charged moment of reflection on one of India's most powerful national icons. All right, to talk more on this, DD India's Dibyendu Mondal joins us from New Delhi. Good morning, Dibyendu. PM Modi to initiate the discussion today. Tell us, how is the government positioning this discussion on 150 years of Vande Mataram and what core points they intend to bring to the forefront?
Well, Abhishek, good morning. You know, this last week of Parliament have functioned, and of course, while we enter into the second week of the parliamentary proceedings, today the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to open a special debate on the completion of the 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram. Of course, you know, this is going to be historic and significant because this discussion, which has never happened in the parliament, is going to be initiated by none less than the Prime Minister of India in the lower house for today. And the discussion will be taking place in the upper house, which is the Rajya Sabha, tomorrow. But what importance does this hold? This is important because, you know, the government has been saying that, you know, key stanzas of the song that had become the crying call for freedom during the struggle period, during the colonial period of, say, during 1900s and the 1947. The critical stanzas had been wiped out from the song, and therefore important key points, letters that were written between Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, who has been the architect and the writer of this Vande Mataram song, and Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Many of key important points and the conversations that had taken place during that point in time could be brought into fore during this discussion. Also, you know, the nation will come to know about many critical facts and important facts with regards to the song Vande Mataram. Will be put to the will be discussed on the floor of the House in the Lok Sabha, by senior leaders of the political parties. And remember, BJP has been given 3 hours of the total 10 hours in the discussion. All political parties cutting across party lines will be taking place in this discussion. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh is also expected to contribute his points to this discussion. There will also be other leaders from the alliance NDA members that will also take part in the discussion. So therefore, a power-packed long day in the Lok Sabha is expected today with, the discussion on the Vande Mataram song, which has become the national song of India, is expected to begin roughly post-noon on this Monday. Abhishek.
Also, Dibyendu, apart from Prime Minister's discussion on Vande Mataram, what other items are listed in today's parliamentary business?
Well, of course, the question hour and the 0 hour will function normally as the parliament begins at 11 a.m. The first hour is dedicated for question hour, and then it is the 0 hour where all members can ask question to the government. And of course, no notice has to be given for this. But post that, the 10-hour discussion, post 12 noon, the 10-hour discussion is scheduled to begin, and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to begin, expected to address the Parliament and begin the discussion. And in the upper house, today the critical bills could be put in place. But of course, the most important one is the Vande Mataram discussion in the lower house today, and it will be in the upper house. But of course, after that, we can see the government has accepted the demand for a discussion on the electoral reforms and the special intensive review, which will begin from tomorrow.
All right, Dibyendu, thank you for the time being, but yes, we'll keep taking updates from you. India is hosting the 20th session of the UNESCO Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage in New Delhi from 8th to 13th of December. The historic Red Fort complex has been chosen as the venue, symbolizing a rare convergence of India's tangible and intangible heritage. This is the first time India is hosting the ICH committee session, and the moment is significant. It coincides with the 20th anniversary of India's ratification of UNESCO's 2003 Convention on Safeguarding Living Cultural Traditions. Addressing the inaugural session, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar said India has consistently worked to advance UNESCO's goal of fostering global peace and understanding through cooperation in education, science and culture.
India has actively advanced UNESCO's objectives of promoting global peace and understanding through deeper cooperation in education, science and culture. In each of these domains, humankind has benefited from the legacy of its forebears. As we forge ahead in the shared quest for progress and prosperity, it is essential that we nurture this inheritance, build on it, and pass it on to future generations.
And Culture Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, meanwhile, underlined that heritage is not merely about monuments or manuscripts.
Most people hear the word heritage, they picture monuments, archives or museum cases. But Bharat has always believed that cultural heritage is far more, not confined to stones or manuscripts, but alive, vibrant and deeply intangible.
And in a tragic incident in Maharashtra's Nasik, where 6 people died after their vehicle plunged into an 1,000-foot ravine on the stretch leading to a famous shrine. The car was headed towards the Saptashringi Mata temple when the driver reportedly lost control while attempting to overtake near the Bhavri waterfall, a stretch known for its sharp curves and narrow route. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis called the incident extremely tragic and said families of the victims will be provided financial assistance of Rs 5 lakh each from the state government. And Prime Minister Modi reacted to the incident and expressed grief over the loss of lives. This is what he posted on X, deeply saddened by the loss of lives due to a mishap in Nasik, Maharashtra. My thoughts are with those who have lost their loved ones. I pray that the injured recover soon, unquote. Now on to some updates on Goa nightclub fire incident. 3 senior Goa government officials, including the then Director of Panchayat, were suspended for their role in permitting the operations of Birch by Romeo Lane nightclub. They are held responsible for granting permission to the nightclub to begin operations in 2023. Police have also questioned Roshan Redkar, the Sarpanch of Arpora Nagoa Panchayat, who had issued the trade license for the club. The owners, managers and event managers have been charged with culpable homicide and causing death due to negligence, among other charges. So far, 4 people have been arrested, but the club's owners are yet to be nabbed. The incident occurred on the intervening night of December 6 and 7, where 25 people, including 4 tourists, were killed after a fire broke out at Birch by Romeo Lane in Arpora, Goa. Initial findings point to a cylinder blast as the trigger, with 3 people dying of burn injuries and the remaining due to suffocation as thick smoke filled the enclosed space. Alright, still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. We'll give you updates on the Benin coup attempt. President says attempt spotted. Hong Kong's Legislative Council election ends with 31.9% turnout under Patriots Only rule. And Tokyo shines bright as nearly 1 million lights illuminate city for the holiday season.
स्वागत आहे टू मैग्नेटिक महाराष्ट्र. Share in the richness of Maharashtra as one family, united by the collective vision of building a better tomorrow.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching Lead India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Big news coming in. Thailand has launched airstrikes along its disputed border with Cambodia. And after both countries accused the other of breaching a ceasefire agreement brokered by US President Donald Trump. As per the Thailand military statement, at least one Thai soldier has been killed and 4 wounded in the fresh clashes that broke out around 2 areas in the easternmost province of Ubon Ratchathani, while Cambodia's defense ministry said in a statement that the Thai military had launched dawn attacks on its forces at 2 locations following days of provocative actions, and added that Cambodian troops had not retaliated. The border dispute had erupted into a 5-day war in July before a ceasefire deal brokered by Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and Donald Trump, who also witnessed the signing of an expanded peace agreement between the 2 countries in Kuala Lumpur in October. So tensions along the Thailand-Cambodia border have flared once again, and Thailand and Cambodia have for more than a century contested sovereignty at undemarcated points along their 817-kilometer, which is around 508 miles land border, first mapped in 1907 by France when it ruled Cambodia as a colony. So simmering tension has occasionally exploded into skirmishes, such as a week-long artillery exchange in 2011, despite attempts to peacefully resolve overlapping claims. So tensions along the Thailand-Cambodia border once again following the collapse of a recently negotiated ceasefire. So tensions escalate between Thailand and Cambodia, and the agreement brokered just weeks ago by US President Donald Trump was intended to freeze military activity in several long contested zones near the frontier. But this is the big news coming in, that Thailand has launched airstrikes along its disputed border with Cambodia. All right, we'll keep giving you updates on this, but moving on, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the second phase of a US plan to end the conflict in Gaza was close, though he cautioned several key issues still needed to be resolved, including whether a multinational security force would be deployed. A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is entering its second month. Israel retained control of 53% of Gaza under the first phase of Trump's plan, which involved the release of hostages held in Gaza and of Palestinians detained by Israel. The final hostage remains to be handed over are those of an Israeli police officer killed on October 7, 2023, fighting Gazan terrorists who had invaded Israel. Since the ceasefire started in October, Hamas has re-established itself in the rest of Gaza. According to the plan, Israel is to pull back further in the second phase as a transitional authority is established in Gaza and a multinational security force is deployed. Hamas is disarmed and reconstruction begins. A multinational coordination center has been established in Israel, but there are no deadlines in the plan, and officials involved say that efforts to advance it have stalled. Netanyahu speaking to reporters alongside German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Jerusalem shortly after visiting the Holocaust Memorial Yad Vashem. Netanyahu said that he would hold important discussions with US President at the end of the month on how to ensure the plan's second phase was achieved.
I think simultaneous with the advance to the second stage, I think it's important to make sure that Hamas complies, not only with the ceasefire, but also with their commitment, which they undertook, to disarm and have Gaza demilitarized. That's not something that is not part of something that they committed to. They committed to it. And so I think we'll be having very important conversations at the end of the month on how to ensure that this second stage is achieved. We're about to finish the first stage. We're there, almost. But we have to make sure that we achieve the same results in the second stage, and that's something I look forward to discussing with President Trump.
Meanwhile, Chancellor Merz reaffirmed Germany's commitment to diplomacy, stressing the need for long-term thinking.
Above all, we will continue our diplomatic efforts to bring about peace. One thing is certain, Hamas cannot play any role in Gaza. Hamas must no longer pose a threat to Israel. We must not take short-sighted action or think in the short term. After the trauma of war suffered by both Israelis and Palestinians, we must lay the foundations for a new order in the region, a new order in which Israelis, Palestinians, and Arab neighbors can live in lasting peace, freedom, security, and dignity.
Separately in New York, the United States, Israel and Qatar held a trilateral meeting. As per reports, it came months after Israeli jets conducted an airstrike in Doha and successfully targeting Hamas leadership. It was the highest level meeting between the countries since the deal to end the conflict in Gaza, for which Qatar served as a key mediator. Reports suggest that White House envoy Steve Witkoff hosted the meeting with Mossad spy chief David Barnea representing Israel and an unnamed senior Qatari official in attendance. On Saturday, Qatar and Egypt both called for the withdrawal of Israeli troops and the deployment of an international stabilization force to fully implement the fragile agreement to end the conflict in Gaza. Jordan's King Abdullah II discussed ways to deepen cooperation and partnership with EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas during a meeting on Sunday in Amman. The statement said that the discussions covered regional developments, with both sides calling for a comprehensive calm in the region and respect for the sovereignty of states. They reaffirmed that a two-state solution to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict is the only path to a just and comprehensive peace. King Abdullah reiterated the importance of implementing the provisions of the Gaza ceasefire agreement, ensuring the flow of humanitarian aid and halting unilateral Israeli measures against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Kaja Kallas stressed the importance of EU's partnership with Jordan and a shared commitment to deepening cooperation across sectors. She also highlighted Jordan's pivotal role in the region. Talks between US and Ukrainian negotiators over a proposed peace deal with Russia ended in Miami this weekend, with few new developments and lingering questions over security guarantees and territorial issues. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has provided a fresh update on peace talks with the US, saying they have been constructive but not easy.
We spoke with Stephen Witkoff and Jared Kushner. I thank them for their readiness to work together 24/7. The American representatives know the basic Ukrainian positions. The conversation was constructive, although not easy.
The comments from Zelenskyy comes ahead of key talks between Ukrainian leader, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, France's Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in London on Monday.
We continue to work. Something can only be discussed in personal. UMRO and NATO will report to me, and I will also speak with European leaders. We have meetings planned in London as well as in Brussels.
Meanwhile, the Kremlin has praised Trump's new national security strategy, saying that it corresponds in many ways to our vision. The new strategy warned that Europe faces civilizational erasure and that Washington wanted to re-establish strategic stability with Russia. On Sunday, Trump's outgoing Ukraine envoy Keith Kellogg said that the deal to end the Ukraine war was really close and now depends on resolving just two main outstanding issues: the future of the Donbas region and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump expressed disappointment with his Ukrainian counterpart Zelenskyy as he didn't read the proposal to end the conflict with Russia, while Putin has accepted it.
We've been speaking to President Putin and we've been speaking to Ukrainian leaders, including Zelenskyy, President Zelenskyy. And I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelenskyy hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago. His people love it, but he hasn't. Russia's fine with it. Russia, I guess, would rather have the whole country when you think of it. But Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelenskyy is fine with it. His people love it, but he hasn't read it.
Meanwhile, Kremlin has welcomed US President's new national security strategy and said it largely accorded with Russia's own perceptions, a rare time where Moscow has strongly praised such a document from its former Cold War foe. The US national security strategy described Trump's vision as one of flexible realism and argued that the US should revive the 19th century Monroe Doctrine, which declared the Western Hemisphere to be Washington's zone of influence. The strategy signed by Trump also warned that Europe faces civilizational erasure, that it was a core US interest to negotiate an end to the conflict in Ukraine, and that Washington wanted to re-establish strategic stability with Russia. British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper will meet her American counterpart Marco Rubio in Washington today to discuss Ukraine. This is Cooper's first visit to the US capital since becoming Britain's top diplomat in September. The transatlantic allies talks are set to also focus on the situation in Gaza and ongoing conflict in Sudan, and urgent need to press the warring parties to agree to a humanitarian truce, the prevention of atrocities and humanitarian access. West African nations' government and armed forces thwarted a coup attempt by a group of soldiers on Sunday and vowed to punish them. Benin President Patrice Talon said his government and military had thwarted a coup after soldiers declared his removal on state TV amid gunfire in Cotonou. He added that loyal forces had regained control, defeated the mutineers and promised punishment while showing concern for victims and those captured by the fleeing rebels. A government official reported that 14 people had been arrested in connection with the coup by Sunday afternoon.
J'ai donc, en coordination avec le commandement des forces de défense et
In coordination with the command of the Defense and Security Forces, I have taken the necessary actions to maintain peace, to ensure the security and tranquility of all throughout the national territory. I would like to commend the sense of duty of our army and its leaders, who have remained Republican and loyal to the homeland. With them, we stood firm, regained positions until we cleared the last pockets of resistance from the mutineers.
While at the request of Talon's government, Nigeria sent Air Force fighter jets to take over Benin's airspace to help dislodge the coup plotters from the state television network and a military camp. The unrest was the latest threat to democratic rule in the region, where militaries have in recent years seized power in Benin's neighbors Niger and Burkina Faso, as well as in Mali, Guinea and only last month Guinea-Bissau. Partial results from Sunday's local election in Bucharest indicate the city elected a liberal mayor, strengthening PM Ili Bolojan's pro-European coalition and defeating a leading hard-right candidate. The mayoral post, vacant since Nikushor dance rerun win, was expected to go to a hard-right candidate, potentially making Bucharest the first EU capital under such leadership. Instead, Cyprian Shuku, a close supporter of Bolojan, will succeed Dan, securing 35.4% of the votes as per the official preliminary count, covering 90% of ballots. Anca Alexandrescu came second with 22.35%, narrowly surpassing leftist Social Democrat Daniel Baluta, whose party opposes Bolojan's public sector reforms. Chiku's victory strengthened Bolojan ahead of a likely no-confidence vote on judicial pension reform. Sunday's vote follows last year's cancelled presidential election, which caused a major political crisis in Romania. Residents of the rural Honduran town San Antonio de Flores voted on Sunday, a week later than the rest of the country, in a postponed election. Military patrols and observers from the Organization of American States monitored the proceedings as the town's 4,996 registered voters finally cast their ballots. The original voting day on November 30th had been delayed amid fraud claims, with both leading candidates accusing each other of irregularities. Presidential candidate Salvador Nasrallah is trailing his conservative rival Nasri Asfoura by fewer than 20,000 votes. The delayed vote has become central to a race viewed as a test of President Trump's influence in Latin America after he openly supported Asfoura and cautioned against reversing the preliminary results. San Antonio de Flores had no mayor for 2 years due to a legal dispute. Voting for the election of the 8th Term Legislative Council of China's Hong Kong Special Administrative Region concluded on Sunday night. Hong Kong's Sunday election drew near record low turnout amid public anger following the city's worst fire in decades, though participation was still slightly higher than in the vote 4 years later. Earlier. Over 600 polling stations were in operation for the roughly 4.13 million registered voters. Staff and volunteers at the entrances carefully guided people through the voting steps. As per the city government, the final turnout reached 31.9%. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. More than 1,000 Santas filled the town of Mischendorf in Germany on Sunday for the 17th annual Santa Run. People in Santa suits ran distances from 2.5 to 10 kilometers. Children joined in with their own 1-kilometer race called the F-Hat Race. Tokyo is lighting up for the holiday season as Christmas decorations and illuminations brighten the city ahead of December 25th. One of the most popular displays is the Keiya Kizaka illumination, where around 930,000 LED lights line the street leading to Tokyo Tower. Toyo's Christmas lights remain on from late November through early January, bringing a long holiday cheer to the city. Marseille marked the completion of a major restoration project with a sound and light show unveiling the renewed Bon Mère statue atop the Basilica of Notre Dame de la Garde. The event drew crowds across the city as the iconic landmark was illuminated to showcase its restored details. Celebrated British photographer Martin Parr died on Saturday at the age of 73. The confirmation of his death came on Sunday from his foundation. Parr was known for his colourful, satirical documentary style, capturing British social class in everyday life, making him one of the United Kingdom's most recognisable and influential photographers. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. India ramps up Operation Sagar Bandhu in Sri Lanka with major relief deliveries, engineering support and medical aid. Kashi Tamil Sangamam celebrates timeless cultural bridge between Tamil Nadu and Kashi. And Shimla's historic open-air ice rink springs back to life as winter skating season draws crowds. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of our top stories. Prime Minister Modi to initiate the historic debate on 150 years of Vande Mataram in lower house of the Parliament. 10 hours allocated for this special discussion on the national song. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation grants IndiGo an extension till 6 p.m. on Monday to respond to its notice, warns of proceeding ex parte if airline fails to respond. Israel's PM Netanyahu hints at entering second phase of Gaza plan shortly, says Hamas must disarm, will meet President Trump later this month to discuss peace. President Zelenskyy says Ukraine's peace talks with US constructive but not easy, expected to meet French, British and German leaders on Monday in London, further talks planned in Brussels. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation on Sunday said it granted IndiGo CEO an extension to submit in response to the show cause notice issued to the airline on Saturday over massive disruptions in flight operations. The domestic carrier, which continues to face widespread disruptions even on day 7, has time till 6 p.m. on Monday to respond to DGCA's notice. DGCA cautioned that failure to submit a complete and comprehensive reply within the extended timeline will result in the regulator proceeding ex parte, that is legal action based on the available records. IndiGo's 650 flights were cancelled on Sunday, taking the total flights cancelled since Tuesday to more than 2,000. The airline has said that it expects operations to stabilize by December 10. Meanwhile, air travel operations across the country are stabilizing at a fast pace following intervention by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Government said that all corrective measures will remain in place until operations stabilize entirely.
Air travel operations across the country are stabilizing at a fast pace following rapid and decisive steps taken by the Ministry of Civil Aviation in wake of IndiGo operational crisis. While all other domestic airlines are operating smoothly and at full capacity, IndiGo's performance has shown steady improvement on Sunday, with flight schedules moving back towards normal levels. In light of recent cancellations leading to a shift in demand and temporary surge in airfares, the ministry intervened and introduced a cap on airfares with immediate effect. This measure ensures fairness and affordability for travelers. Since the implementation of this order, fare levels across affected routes have moderated to acceptable limits. The ministry has also instructed IndiGo to trace and deliver all baggage separated from passengers due to disruptions. Continuous communication is mandated throughout the process. The ministry's 24/7 control room continues to function as an integrated coordination hub, overseeing flight operations, airport conditions, and passenger support requirements. Passenger calls are being promptly attended to, with necessary assistance as required. The ministry has reassured traveling public that passenger safety, convenience, and dignity remain their highest priority. The aviation network is moving swiftly towards full normalcy, and all corrective measures will remain in place until operations stabilize entirely. To reduce passenger inconvenience at airports, multiple stakeholder engagements were held and real-time airport situations have been monitored continuously. Regular meetings were convened with all operators, airport directors, ground handling agencies, and all other stakeholders. Bureau Report, DD India.
Amid the ongoing IndiGo situation, Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi has issued an advisory stating that IndiGo flights may continue to face delays and urged passengers to check the latest flight status with airlines. It added that airport teams are working closely to manage the situation, minimize disruptions and ensure a smooth travel experience for all. Meanwhile, Indian Railways has started running special trains from Monday to help passengers amid flight cancellations and winter travel demand. A total of 89 special train services, making over 100 trips, will operate over the next 3 days across multiple zones. Central Railway will run 14 special trains. Railways will also operate additional services from major cities. These trains aim to manage the extra passenger rush, ensure connectivity and facilitate smoother winter travel across the country. All right, to talk more on this, DD India's Ravi Dhiman joins us on the phone line. Ravi, DGCA extended the deadline yesterday, but IndiGo still has to submit its full response by 6 p.m. on Monday, that is today. What more do we know about this notice and the regulators' expectations?
Well, the window closes for IndiGo at 6 p.m. today, and the IndiGo top officials have to respond to the show cause notice. They have to tell the DGCA and thereby the entire nation what went wrong actually, who was at fault, because a staggering, IndiGo's share in the civil aviation sector is staggering above 50% in India. And last 5 or 6 days have been really harrowing experience for all the travelers across the nation, and the nation would also want to know, as the DGCA authorities would want to know what actually went wrong. Yesterday we also saw the Civil Aviation Minister of State for Civil Aviation saying that an inquiry has been set up, a committee has been formed, and IndiGo will definitely face some action, for the shortcomings that saw the entire aviation sector in India go haywire in the past 6 days. Although, as we said, due to continued government efforts and the efforts by the Civil Aviation Ministry, some parity has been restored, and IndiGo has promised that it will operate at full strength by December 10th. And today itself, IndiGo operates more than 2,000 flights every day. By today and by yesterday, almost 1,600 flights were in operation. So things are slowly coming to normal, but that won't spare IndiGo the scrutiny of its action. As all airlines put in some action, they put in a plan for the implementation of the new FDTL norms, but clearly IndiGo was found lacking, and at 6 p.m. The window for the airlines will close, and they will have to reply to the show cause notice. Otherwise, as the DGCA has said, they will continue with the entire case ex parte.
All right, Ravi, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for the time being, but yes, we'll keep taking updates from you. Shifting focus, India continues relentless relief and rescue efforts under the ongoing Operation Sagar Bandhu in Sri Lanka. India has sent about 1,000 tons of essential food items and clothes to Colombo, contributed by the people of Tamil Nadu. Of these, about 300 tons reached Colombo in 3 Indian naval ships. Sunday morning, the High Commissioner handed over the relief materials to Lanka's Trade Minister, while another ship, INS Gharial, with about 700 tons of relief material will reach Trincomalee on Monday.
We are bringing in supplies. This is about 900 metric tons of food items. We will continue this effort. We have an ongoing Operation Sagar Bandhu going on.
While Army's engineers, together with Lankan counterparts and the Road Development Authority, are removing the damaged bridge on the Paranthan Karachi Malai Tivu A35 road in Kiloniche, this joint effort marks another step towards restoring vital connectivity for affected communities. Providing medical care and support, the field hospital set up by Indian Army in Mahi Yanganaya near Kandy since 5th December has already provided much needed medical care to more than 2,200 patients affected by the cyclone. Also, the hospital has successfully conducted 67 minor procedures and 3 operations. India's medical teams remain committed to delivering timely care to Sri Lankan people. Kashi Tamil Sangamam, drawing the spirit, bringing alive a bond that has quietly shaped India's cultural landscape for generations. The writer and media professional group visited the Interculture Studies Center at Banaras Hindu University, engaging with the rich academic and cultural perspectives the institution nurtures. The interaction offered them fresh insights into cross-cultural understanding and the diverse traditions that shape India's intellectual landscape.
This was a very grateful day today. We started with a holy dip in Ma Ganga at the Hanuman Ghat. Later we came to Banaras Hindu University, one of the oldest existing university, I would probably tell, and I got the blessings from this university because people from South won't get the opportunity to come here as it is way long. I feel very grateful for this opportunity, and thanks to BHU for this golden opportunity.
Kashi Tamil Sangamam is a celebration of a relationship that has lived in the Indian imagination for centuries. For countless pilgrims, scholars and seekers, the journey between Tamil Nadu and Kashi was never just a physical passage. It was a movement of ideas, philosophies, languages and living traditions. Shimla city, the capital of India's hill state of Himachal Pradesh, is witnessing historic ice skating with the open-air natural facility springing back to life this winter. With the 3-month ice skating season beginning, many locals, including children and even senior citizens, are turning up in large numbers to enjoy skating on the fresh ice. Many say the ring's natural soft ice makes it stand out from the indoor rings found elsewhere in the country. According to locals, this activity is an annual tradition people of the city eagerly wait for. Many Shimla residents hope that the early arrival of cold weather this year will extend the skating season and attract more tourists to the city. Winter has arrived in its full fury in Kashmir and much ahead of time. While the intense cold usually starts by December 21st, this year the region is already freezing as mercury has dropped below 0 degrees in many places.
Wrapped in a ferran, carrying a kangri and huddled around temporary bonfires along the roadside near the iconic Dal Lake. These have become a common sight in Srinagar city these days. Local residents have adopted the traditional ways of keeping themselves warm as temperatures continue to plummet in the Kashmir Valley. With minimum temperatures dropping below the freezing point, daily life has been severely disrupted. The situation is even more challenging for those who depend on daily wages for their livelihood.
बहुत ज़्यादा हद से ज़्यादा परेशानी है क्योंकि ठंड बहुत है आज। जैसे कि हम सुबह निकलते हैं काम पे तो धुंध हो जाती है, यहाँ पे सर्दी बहुत है तो काम नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो सुबह ज़्यादा होती है और शाम को दिन भर थोड़ा सा होता है तो चलते ठीक है। ये 2 दिन ज़्यादा ही सर्दी होती है।
According to the daily wagers, they are not getting enough work to sustain their livelihoods due to the severe cold conditions in the region. Many locals complain that the severely cold weather has arrived in the region much earlier than usual, even though Chillai Kala, the 40-day period of harsh winter in the Kashmir Valley, begins every year on December 21st. The meteorological department has forecast mainly dry weather on Sunday, with a brief spell of light snowfall at isolated places in the higher reaches of North and Central Kashmir on Monday.
The Heritage Transport Museum in Gurugram celebrated its 12th anniversary on Sunday, marking over a decade as India's premier private museum showcasing transport history, featuring vintage vehicles and a new special exhibition of vintage travel posters. It offers immersive galleries, a library and nostalgic displays, inviting visitors to explore India's evolving mobility. More in this report.
To mark its 12th anniversary, the Heritage Transport Museum in Gurugram is inviting visitors on a journey back in time with a special exhibition titled Posters That Moved India, Tourism, Travel and Transport 1930s to 1970s. From December 7, 2025 to February 28, 2026, the museum's exhibition gallery will showcase original railway, aviation, maritime and tourism posters, hand-painted artworks that once adorned railway platforms, airline offices and city walls across India. Open since 2013, the Heritage Transport Museum doesn't just preserve objects, it preserves memories in motion. Spread across 4 floors in Tauru, Gurugram, the museum houses more than 3,500 artifacts, including vintage cars, railway relics, aviation memorabilia and much more.
We've come a long way. We've learned a lot from our customers. We've learned a lot from school kids, what they like and what they would like to see at the museum. A couple of years back, we introduced the simulator. So we keep on evolving. The museum keeps evolving based on the customer feedback. On this 12th anniversary, we have this poster exhibition going on. Posters from 1920s to 1970s of how various companies was promoting India and how they were enticing customers to travel, whether it was through railways or whether it was through aviation or even through maritime.
The exhibition invites visitors to reflect on how design, mobility, and the idea of travel have evolved and how early artists inspired generations to explore.
मैं यहाँ थर्ड टाइम विजिट कर रहा हूँ विद फैमिली एंड एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अच्छा रहा सर। मीन फर्स्ट टाइम आए थे तो ऑब्वियसली ये हमारे लिए एक हेरिटेज मोमेंट था बिकॉज इतना ओल्ड स्टॉक इधर रखा है जो हमने कभी न्यूज़पेपर्स में या टीवीज़ में देखा था वो फिज़िकली हम देख पा रहे हैं सर। जो कार्स हैं जो विंटेज कार्स हैं यस एंड ट्रेन वाला सेगमेंट भी सर बहुत अच्छा है।
काफ़ी ऐसे हेरिटेज यहाँ पे चीज़ें देखने को मिली हैं और उससे बहुत ही अच्छा फील हुआ है देखने में। मतलब हमें ये लगता है कि जैसे हम उनके टाइम में आ गए, पुराने टाइम की जो गाड़ियाँ हैं जो अब नहीं मिलती लेकिन हमने तो कभी देखी भी नहीं थी वो, और आज हम उन्हें फिजिकली देख रहे हैं तो एक बहुत ही अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस मिला देखने का। और यहाँ बच्चों को भी बहुत अच्छा फील हुआ है, उनको भी नए पुराने टाइम की सारी चीज़ें देखने को मिलती हैं।
Over the years, the museum has been honored with recognitions such as the National Tourism Award, TripAdvisor Travelers' Choice Awards, and several international accolades. The Posters That Moved India exhibition is open daily from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. except on Mondays until February 28th, offering a rare chance to step back in time and see how art once inspired India to move.
All right, business updates now. The US dollar steadied on Monday after 2 weeks of selling ahead of a week crammed with central bank meetings and headlined by the US Federal Reserve, where an interest rate cut is all but priced in, but a divided committee makes for a wild card. Besides Wednesday's Fed decision, central bank policy meetings are also due in Australia, Brazil, Canada and Switzerland, though no moves are expected outside of the Fed. The euro, which has been trading in a reasonably tight range since June, hovered at $1.16. The yen, which has found a footing after sliding through November, traded at $155.28 a dollar. At the red carpet of the Kennedy Center honors, US President Donald Trump suggested that Netflix's bid to acquire Warner Brothers might pose antitrust issues, noting the company already holds a large share of the streaming market and saying he would be involved in the federal regulator's decision on the nearly $83 billion deal, adding that the market share could be a problem.
He's done an incredible job. I mean, he had a company that was very troubled 7 or 8 years ago, and he took it over, and he's really done a legendary job.
Should they be allowed to buy Warner Brothers? Should Netflix?
Well, that's the question. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, you know, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And also, and I'll be involved in that decision too.
Did they make...
They have a very big market share.
All right, sports updates now. We'll start with hockey. India went down 1-5 to defending champion Germany in the semi-finals of FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup 2025 in Chennai. Germany took control early with Lucas Gossel scoring twice and teammates Titus Wex, Jonas Vaughan and Ben Hasbach adding goals inside 50 minutes. India's only reply came in the 51st minute when Anmoleka converted a penalty corner. Despite enjoying more possession in the second quarter and creating openings through Ajit Yadav and Arshdeep Singh, India could not break Germany's strong defence. Goalkeeper Princedeep Singh made several saves but was unable to stop the relentless attack. India will now meet Argentina in the third place playoff on December 10. India enjoyed a strong day at the ISSF World Cup finals in Doha. Simranpreet Kaur Brar clinched gold in women's 25-meter pistol final, equaling the junior world record with 41 hits. Isha Singh also made the final but finished 7th, while Manu Bhakar narrowly missed qualification. Earlier, Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar secured silver in men's 50-meter rifle 3 positions with a score of 413.3, adding to his successful year that already includes Asian Championship and World Championship medals. Anish Bhanwala capped the day with silver in men's 25-meter rapid-fire pistol, finishing just 2 hits behind Olympic champion Lee Yu Hong. As Christmas festival is round the corner, hundreds of people crowded the circus-themed Christmas land in New Taipei City to celebrate the winter season. The new Taipei City Christmas celebration kicked off on November 14 and will light up the city for 45 consecutive days. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.